Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Brown Bears Sports Report. My name is Scott Cordischi, social media specialist and host of the show. Glad you could be with us today. Today's show is brought to you by My Box of Rhode Island. When it comes to moving and storage, My Box of Rhode Island brings the storage to you, moving made easy. No need to rent a delivery truck, no making multiple trips to load a storage unit. Call My Box of Rhode Island at 401-597-6400. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show this week the Brown women's lacrosse team. And we first say hello to head coach Keely McDonald. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And we have 5 of your student athletes with us. First off, freshman Essie Atherton. Essie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Well, thank you for joining us from out in Oakland, California. Emily Fryer, senior defender, is with us from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Emily, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Thank you for joining us on the show. Allison Lanzone, junior defender from Wayne, Pennsylvania, is with us. Allison, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Nice to see you.
You too. Thanks for coming on the show today. Elena Paracella is a sophomore attack from Chatham, New Jersey. Elena, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us. And Mason Warble, a junior midi from Bronxville, New York, is our final guest. Mason, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for joining us on the show. Looking forward to talking some women's lax over the next few minutes. Coach, we'll start with you. Your team was the team that played the final athletic event, I think not only at Brown University, maybe in the Ivy League before everything was shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I want to take you back to that time because I know that you were informed about this and that your game was going to be played, but after that, the season would come to an end. How did you determine whether or not to tell your student athletes before that game against Virginia Tech?
I think it just boiled down to a gut feeling that we all seem to do better with clarity, with information, no matter how hard news is. If we know what's going on, then we can kind of figure it out and band together. I was definitely nervous that if we didn't tell the team before the game, social media, the word would get out, fans, like I didn't want one little distraction. I'd rather us all know what's happening. And it was hard. It was definitely a really hard moment to tell the team when we usually are going in and saying, all right, here's the game plan. Let's get hyped. Let's go beat Virginia Tech. And now we're saying your season's canceled. Do you want to play? You know, it was a very different experience. And I think it felt right in the moment, and it still feels like it was so right because the opportunity that it gave us to band together and for the team to really decide together that they want to compete and they want to play and then to play how they did was one of the most special moments, honestly, of my life and certainly in my coaching experience to be around that kind of atmosphere in the locker room before and then also after.
Yeah, it was a terrific win over the 23rd ranked team in the nation, 13-11. You beat the Hokies. Emily, talk to us a little bit about your feeling. Do you feel like when you guys got the news before the start of that game, did it galvanize the team a little bit? Did you feel like, hey, this is it. Let's go out and put it all together today?
Yeah, definitely. And I think looking back, it's kind of the moment that my entire lacrosse career came down to, which is just to stay in the moment. And I think our team just did such a great job that entire game of focusing on the next play, not thinking about after or before or the news we just heard, and just being in the moment and staying in the moment, which our team has just really done an excellent job our entire season with that.
Well, Elena, you were certainly one of the many players that rose to the occasion in that game. 4 goals and an assist to kind of lead the way in that upset win over Virginia Tech. You played very well. Congratulations. I'm sure that had to be a special moment for you individually and for the team.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely was. We've had a lot of time to reflect on it. And we all came to the conclusion that it was each and every single player's contributions that led to that win and led to all of the success from each player. I know I wouldn't have been able to score without each and every single player on the field and on the sideline. So I know every single person knows that, and that's what made it really special.
Allison, you also played extremely well, I thought, in that game. 3 ground balls, 3 turnovers forced against Virginia Tech. What do you remember about that game and about that day?
I remember as a team, we really came together, and especially as a defensive unit, we talked about bringing everything together that we had put into the whole season and into preseason and the summer before, and just really showing what we were capable of. And I think I felt the energy coming from every defender every time we were playing a defensive set, and from the sideline and from the attackers. It felt just like we were super unified, and we had confidence in ourselves and in our ability to kind of dominate the defensive side of the game and get it back to the attackers so we could come out with a win. So I think everyone was just really amped up and wanted to prove to ourselves just how much work we've put in and what we're capable of.
Mason, you finished the season second on the team in draw controls, and I think you were third in turnovers forced and third in ground balls. Obviously not the way you wanted the season to end, right? I feel like you guys are playing well. The record would say 4-3, but when you look at your losses, you know, an overtime loss, a 1-goal loss to Yale, and a close game at Boston College, this team looked like it was playing pretty well before the season came to an end.
Yeah, for sure. We were definitely on the right trajectory. I think we were really excited about moving forward in the season. So it's definitely a really tough way to end. But I think the way we played against Virginia Tech really showed how we were all coming together, and especially like playing for our seniors, knowing that it was their last game since we've been playing with them for our whole careers. So that was a really special moment. And I think just moving forward into next year, it'll just kind of give us an edge of wanting to not take any moment for granted and just being really excited about how much talent we have for next year too.
Essie, as a freshman on this team, a newcomer, just tell me what the experience was like. First year at Brown University as a member of the women's lacrosse program. Obviously, things didn't end the way that any of us thought that they would, but how did you find your freshman year in terms of managing your time and you know, balancing academics and athletics?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was pretty nervous coming in. I've had a lot of friends who played in college, but then when I actually got to school, it was almost the easiest thing ever because we had, you know, all the upperclassmen and the sophomores and everyone kind of walking us through every step of the way. And the coaches from day one were so clear about anything that we possibly could need help with, that they're always there for us. And we just got so much extra support in the beginning of the year, which I'm so grateful for. And it just made it so much easier to connect with everyone. And I think that's kind of why we played so well going forward, is just because we all felt like one. We didn't really feel like we were the new freshmen or anything. Everyone was kind of the same.
Coach, what have you been doing in terms of communicating with your coaches, with the team? Obviously, these are very unique circumstances that we're all living through. What have you been doing these past few weeks to stay in touch with your student athletes?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, everybody across the country has had to pivot in some way, and in some ways the pivots are so much more difficult, right? So we just really needed to make a new curriculum, and that's what we've been doing. So the 2 weeks where we had a little bit of a break, the coaching staff got together and just said, where's the opportunity here? What can we use this time for? And what we have used it for is just more lacrosse IQ learning with film, where the players do some film on their own. They do some film with the coaches. They've certainly kept up with their workouts and their stick work that we've been doing. And then we've had some awesome Zoom calls and connections. And one unique thing is that we've been doing a player of the day each day, 3:15, 5 minutes. So we're all together every single Monday through Friday for at least 5 minutes. And each player shares her why. So why she plays Brown's lacrosse, and then usually shares a video or does something creative to inspire her teammates and really feel the connection. They did an impromptu TikTok dance the other on the Zoom call the other day. So they've been super creative, and it's just a way to stay connected and, you know, keep each other buoyed during this time.
I love that why Brown, or why, call that you do every day with your student athletes. I think that's very creative, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Coach, I look at your team, and again, I thought the team was playing very well this spring before the season came to an end. And then I look at the future, and I feel like it's so bright for your program. 5 of your top 6 scorers from this season return next year. The only exception to that would be Casey Williams.
Yeah, for sure. It's super bright, and it's bright because of all of the work that, certainly this team has put in, but the teams before to kind of grind and get us to where we were a year ago, and then where we were this year. And then you have to build, things don't happen overnight. And so there's been so much work that's been put in to put these women in this position. And it's also from the alumni and from the parents to have this incredible facility to call home now and be able to have all of these resources. It is a special time. I mean, there's no question it's a special time for Brown lacrosse. because of all of the time and effort and energy that anyone who's a part of the program has put in for us and for these players.
Emily, you didn't get enough time to enjoy that brand new Center for Lacrosse and Soccer, and I'm sorry for that. But tell us what your concentration is at Brown, and what are your plans after graduation?
Yeah, so I'm concentrating in BEO, which stands for Business, Entrepreneurship, and Organizations, and Education. So next year I've kind of meshed the two, and I'm working for an international travel company for education. And my role is kind of salesy, consultant-y, and I'm selling travel programs to teachers, and kind of walking them through that, getting students to sign up for that, and that'll be in Boston, so it'll be close. I'm excited.
So that's good. I think that means we'll be seeing you in Providence on occasion next spring, right?
Definitely, every weekend.
Emily, you were picked as one of the captains for this year's team, and I'm just wondering, what did that responsibility mean to you?
Yeah, I think the responsibility is just the same as anybody else's responsibility, which is holding yourself accountable, holding the person next to you accountable, and staying positive. And I think something that's different about this team is the chemistry level. So I think it was an easy job because everyone just got along so well, and we're just remained super positive the entire year.
Allison, same question to you. You were also a captain on this team as a junior this year. And, what did it mean to you when you found out that you were named one of the team's captains?
I think I was really excited because our team, like Emily said, just has amazing chemistry. So there wasn't the level of, maybe stress or nervousness that could possibly accompany that role in other situations. And the transparency that Coach talked about earlier, just with telling us about our season being over before Virginia Tech, I think that transparency translates to all aspects of our program. So being a captain on a team where everyone's so eager to learn and just to be honest with each other and very open just made it a really fun experience and something that I'm really grateful that I was able to do and just to contribute in the best way I could to this team.
Elena, one of the things that kind of gave me the chills a little bit in that Virginia Tech game, beyond how well your team played and the upset victory, was seeing the men's team, your male counterparts in the stands all together in unison, rooting you guys on, just kind of realizing the moment, the gravity of the situation, and they were there cheering you on, and it was really kind of neat to see.
Definitely. It was amazing to see them out there. It just kind of showed the kind of family that Brown Athletics forms no matter what team you're on. They were going through the same thing. They had the same news, but unfortunately we got to play a game and they didn't. So I know they probably played their hearts out on the field for practice, but they came and supported us during our game, which we really were appreciative of.
Elena, I know you're in New Jersey, just west of Newark, which is certainly one of the hot spots right now for the COVID-19 virus. Things are well for you and your family, I take it?
Yes, fortunately, everyone's well and healthy, and really lucky for that.
And Mason, same question to you in Bronxville, New York, just north of New York City. Again, really the epicenter of this. How are things in your area?
Not too bad. We're all staying healthy, so we're lucky for that for sure.
That's terrific. And Essie, you're out in Oakland, California, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like California is a little bit ahead of the rest of the country in terms of maybe recovering from this or on the downward slope of the curve. Is that the case where you are?
Yeah, we've been really lucky. We've been in a lockdown for almost 6 weeks now, so they've definitely been ahead of the curve, which has been paying off. But at the same time, we don't know what's to come, so just kind of counting our blessings and being grateful for everything we have.
Coach, I know this is a dead period right now in terms of recruiting, but have you given thought to, what's going to happen this summer? Will you be allowed to hold camps? How is recruiting going to go with no travel and everybody kind of staying at home at the moment? How is the whole recruiting process going to happen? This is going to be very different for you and your staff, I would imagine.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the answer I have for you. I mean, there's so many different scenarios out there, and there are NCAA rules of when we can and can't recruit right now. There will the tournaments, when do they need to cancel the tournaments? When do we need to cancel the camps? I think it's so difficult with these mass events and trying to plan ahead. And then when do we need to cancel by, and weighing the pros and cons. So there's been so much discussion about all the different avenues that recruiting can take. And what I will say is to all the kids, if there are any kids, recruits that are watching this, that it's like, we're going to need players. We'll find a way to get players to this program that will definitely, most likely, look a little bit different than it has in the past. And that's what we do. We're creative. We'll find a way. We need to have awesome kids within the program. And so it might look a little bit differently, but I think we'll still find a way.
Emily, what are you going to miss most about your time at Brown?
Easy question, the people. Like I said earlier, the chemistry of this team this year was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And although I'll miss them, our relationships have just started and we'll be friends for life, I think.
Great. Allison, question to you, and that is there something that you miss right now about being on campus? Obviously, remote learning, that's the way of life right now. I would imagine you'd rather be in the classroom at Brown as opposed to on your laptop on Zoom.
Definitely. I think we talk all the time within my grade and within the team about, how it's easy to take for granted the opportunities we have to learn at Brown when they're there every day. But and we maybe don't take that for granted as much with lacrosse, because I think that we really appreciate that in our team chemistry. But school-wise, I think that this transition has made us just appreciate being together in classrooms, taking classes together, doing work together in our houses, like those little moments that seem just kind of like fleeting and like in passing as we kind of go through school, I think just seem more important, and that we like value them a lot more now that we're home trying to work through all of this alone.
Elena, how has the remote learning process gone for you?
It's gone well. I'm definitely lucky with the resources I have. So it's gone better than expected, but definitely not as well as it was going before. I came home. Learning at school is just way more effective, obviously. And but I'm pretty lucky with my professors being very lenient and my classmates always there to reach out to.
Mason, what have you been doing to avoid getting cabin fever? Do you get out to take a run, a walk, or what's it been like for you these past few weeks?
Yeah, I've definitely been trying to get outside at some point in the day, whether it's for a walk or a run. We've also been doing some exercises as a team. So trying to stay active and change up your scenery has definitely been really helpful.
Essie, it's been a little chilly back here in New England. I think we're all envious of the weather that we see behind you out there in Oakland.
Yes, I actually had to move inside because there's so much going on outside. But yeah, we've definitely been super lucky just to, have a space that's available to us and to be able to go outside. Definitely lucky to have that.
Well, a question for all of you. What are your plans for the summer? Did any of you have summer jobs, internships lined up? And how, if at all, has that been affected by what's going on right now? I guess, Allison, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so my plan or initial plan was this summer to stay on campus and to do some research and also to study for the MCAT, which I'm still planning to take at the end of the summer. So the way that that's changed is that a lot of labs are closed because they're all attached to hospitals. The lab that I work in is attached to Rhode Island Hospital. So obviously prioritizing the health of patients and all of us is really important. So as for my current plan, I'm looking for a way to stay involved in some sort of research and then also still studying. So instead of being at school, I might be home, but I'm hoping to be able to make some trips up there and looking forward to seeing when the lab will open because I'm excited to get back to work on some of that stuff.
Elena, how about you? Did you have any plans set for this summer and have they been impacted by this pandemic?
Yeah, so I applied to a couple internships in both New Jersey and New York City, and all of those internships have been canceled. So based on how my state responds the next month or so, I'm hoping to get a job locally, but if not, just staying safe and quarantining still.
Mason, same question to you.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. In New York, everything was canceled pretty much. So I'm either gonna try to find a local job or try to take classes.
Coach, as we wrap things up, I guess just a few words for the underclassmen, and then I guess a final comment or two to Emily, because obviously she's unfortunately played her last game at Brown, but I know how well she's represented your program in Brown Athletics and Brown University.
So a message to my team?
Yeah, a message to the underclassmen, and then a message to Emily.
Oh, that's sweet. Gosh, I think to the underclass women, I've just been so impressed with you and with your teammates and us all working together and pivoting, and your input and your feedback and all the texts and thoughtful calls that we've had to say, all right, this is working, this isn't working. And it has been tremendous to see the depth of your why you play Brown Lacrosse these last couple weeks on those short little calls that each one of you has had. So it has been so special to see that from our team, and just to see, I'm not surprised, but it is special to see how bonded and how close we are, that in this kind of situation that we can still stay so supportive and close because of your leadership. So thanks for that. And then for Emily, I'm like looking around at the screen here. Gosh, I haven't seen Emily in a little while, so it's a little emotional, to be honest. The seniors have kind of opted to do some stuff, but we said, you absolutely don't have to keep working out. If you don't want to, you can lay off the wall ball for a little bit. So we haven't seen them as much on Zoom. So just seeing her, brings back those emotions of being really sad that this ended. This was a tremendous team and really close knit, and the games were amazing for us. And to be honest, like every moment with this group was really fun. Like holding them to a really high standard was a blast, because you knew that they wanted to do that, and doing all the light things that you do off the field was really fun, because we were so ourselves and so connected. So seeing Emily here and thinking of the other three seniors is tough, because it brings back those feelings of loss and sadness for her and her seniors, and then also for this group. And I would say, like Em said, these are lifetime relationships. And I heard we've been doing a lot of learning, and one of the coaches that I was listening to the other day said, what lasts forever is how you grow and who you impact. And I can easily say that Emily Fryer and the rest of her seniors have grown tremendously, and their impact is beyond words for the program and for these women and for myself.
So well said, Coach McDonald. And Emily, let's give the final word to you. Any closing comments that you'd like to leave us with?
No, I mean, I'm just happy. I'm just thankful for this group, and it's good to have perspective in a time like right now, and stay positive, which is something that lacrosse has given to me my whole life, is to see the good in everything. So, and I owe that to Coach for teaching me that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for 4 terrific years of dedication to the program. And all of you, thank you for joining us. I'm glad to hear that you're all doing well. And again, stay in touch, and we'll see you back on campus, most of you, hopefully in the fall.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this edition of the Brown Bears Sports Report with the women's lacrosse team. My name is Scott Cordischi. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.